What up, watch peeps? The deco or decompression dial that we more affectionately call the rainbow dial sure is cool looking, but what in the world are all those colors and numbers? Well, they do have a purpose, so let's break it down. I'm Pete, and we are chilling with watches. Wrist check. I am wearing the Seals Sea Storm fixed bezel that I have just had on so much since it got here on a watch steward. I forget what he calls these ones, something, but they're very nice, very comfortable, super cool strap. But today we're going to talk about, a watch and how it works. So we have the Merkur FOD Rainbow dial, whatever you want to call it, dive watch. And it has a decompression dial, which is looking a little crazy and intimidating at first, but we're going to break down how that works. But since I can predict the future, and I know there will be questions about this watch, I'm going to take a super quick minute to run down the specs. Not a thorough review, since this is basically the same watch as the Fonzie that I reviewed not too long ago, just with the addition of a dive bezel and a bracelet. So you can go back and watch that video if you want to see more about the movement that's in here or this case. So you can pick these up on AliExpress for 160 bucks. That's before any coupons or sales, so I imagine you can get it down quite a bit from there if you are vigilant. Now, Merkur uses this case in a bunch of watches, and with good reason. It is pretty great and has some really solid dimensions. Just look at the angles and the turn down on the lugs. I mean, it's even finished pretty good. It's a really great case. I wish they would put their efforts into maybe coming up with a couple more great cases, as they have a ton of watches in this case, but it is really good. So let's take a look at the dimensions real quick. The case itself comes in at 37.7 millimeters. It is slightly larger at the bezel. I don't remember what, even 40 at the bezel. Lug to lug comes in at 44.8 millimeters, and it is 11.3 millimeters thick. That's including the crystal. 20 millimeter lug width on these guys. Now, they don't have a sapphire crystal. That's one of the negatives. This is just a mineral crystal, and it's using this M01D manual wind movement, so it just has a push-pull crown. I've opened one of these up, the Fonzie, to look at that movement, so if you are interested in that, go watch that video. It uses Super Luminova, which is actually pretty cool on the dial. We'll take a quick look at that at the end of the video. 50 meters of water resistance. It has a bi-directional friction bezel, so if you're familiar with Vostok bezels, it's very much, and feels and works just like that. And it has a really nice thin beads of rice. You know, beads of rice can tend to be big, thick affairs. Like this one's like 4 millimeters, but this one on this nice thin mid-case watch, this is a great bracelet. Female solid end links. Only downside is this butterfly clasp. No micros, so it's going to be tight or loose at some point. So this dial, like anything in life, it looks intimidating, but it's actually quite simple. Now, whereas the Doxa no deco bezel tells you how long you can dive at certain depths without decompression steps, i.e. no deco, the deco dial tells you how long your decompression stops should be when you're diving at depths that require them. So each colored ring on the dial corresponds to a different dive depth, and they are listed here at 12 o'clock, and you'll see it is in both meters and feet. So 80 feet is the green ring, 80 to 95 feet would be the yellow ring, 95 to 110 would be the orange ring, 110 to 130 would be the red ring. So at 80 feet, green ring, you can go up to 34 minutes here before you hit your first mark, which is 0, meaning no deco stop required. From 35 to 39 minutes would require a 5-minute decompression stop. From 40 to 49 would require a 20-minute decompression stop, and so on. Let's say we're going to dive to 100 feet. That would be the orange ring. So at the start of your dive, what you do is set the minute hand to 12 o'clock. I know, weird already. So now let's pretend we jumped off the boat, we're diving, time's going by, we're underwater, time's going by. Let's say we dive for 25 minutes. Now at the end of your dive, what you do is look and see where the minute hand lies in the colored ring that corresponds to your dive depth. So we were diving at 100 feet, that's the orange ring. So looking at the next marcation in the orange ring after where the minute hand is, you'll see 25. So we would need a 25-minute decompression stop before returning to the surface. So that's it. Actually quite simple, although I wouldn't recommend actually ever using it. Everyone these days uses a dive computer, which takes into account your descent speed and time and gives you much more precise results. Also, this watch is rated to like 50 meters, so I wouldn't trust it in more than like 2 inches of water. So if you're like face down in a puddle, you're good. No decompression stops needed. All right, before I let you go, sneaker check. I'm just wearing some basic bro Vans, and that is it. I'm out. If it's not too much trouble, please like, subscribe, and come back next time. Peace.